Have you ever had to make a really difficult choice? A choice that meant leaving something familiar behind and trusting God with what comes next? Well, today's story is about a brave young woman named Ruth. She wasn't a queen, she wasn't rich, she wasn't even from Israel. But because she chose faith, love, and loyalty, God used her in a very special way. Long ago, during a time
I'm
when
just an
judges
ordinary
ruled
girl.
Israel, a famine came to the land. There wasn't enough food for people to eat. In Bethlehem lived a woman named Naomi, her husband Elimelech, and their 2 sons. Because of the famine, they moved to a country called Moab, hoping for a better life. At first, things seemed fine, but then something very sad happened. Naomi's husband died. Later, her 2 sons married Moabite women named Ruth and Orpah. But after several years, both of Naomi's sons died too. Now Naomi, Ruth, and Orpah were all widows. They were sad, lonely, and uncertain about the future. One day, Naomi heard that God had blessed Bethlehem with food again. So she decided to return home. Ruth and Orpah started the journey with her, but Naomi stopped and said, "My daughters, go back to your families. You can build a new life there." Both women cried. Orpah sadly kissed Naomi goodbye and returned home. But Ruth stayed. She loved Naomi very much and didn't want to leave her alone. Then Ruth said some of the most beautiful words in the Bible. "Where you go, I will go. Where you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." What a brave choice. Ruth was leaving her home, her friends, and everything she knew. But she chose to stay with Naomi and trust the God of Israel. Together, the 2 women traveled to Bethlehem. When they arrived, they were very poor and had no food. So Ruth went into the fields to gather leftover grain. In those days, farmers left some grain behind so poor people could collect it. Ruth worked hard all day under the hot sun. Now, she didn't know it, but God was guiding her steps. The field where Ruth worked belonged to a kind man named Boaz. Boaz noticed Ruth and asked about her. When he learned how she had cared for Naomi and chosen to follow God, he was impressed. Boaz told Ruth, "Stay in my fields and gather grain here. My workers will help protect you." He even instructed his workers to leave extra grain for her. Ruth was amazed by his kindness. Every day she worked faithfully and brought food home to Naomi. When Naomi heard that Ruth had been working in Boaz's field, she became excited because Boaz was a relative who could help their family. As time passed, Boaz continued to show kindness and care toward Ruth. He admired her faith, her humility, and her hard-working
Boaz, my
spirit.
heart is full of joy.
Eventually,
As is mine,
Boaz
my
married
beloved
Ruth.
Hooray for
God
Ruth
blessed
and
them with a
Boaz.
baby boy named Obed. Naomi, who had once felt empty and hopeless, now held her grandson in her arms and rejoiced. God had turned her sadness into joy. But the story gets even more exciting. Obed grew up and became the father of Jesse. Jesse became the father of King David, and many years later, Jesus Christ was born from that same family line. Imagine that. A poor foreign woman who trusted God became part of God's amazing plan to bring the Savior into the world. And that's why Ruth's story is still remembered today. She teaches us that loyalty matters. She teaches us that kindness matters. She teaches us that hard work matters. And most importantly, she teaches us that when we trust God, He can do wonderful things with our lives, even when things seem difficult, even when we don't know what will happen next. God is always working behind the scenes, just like He did for Ruth and just like He does for us. Moral lessons: always stay loyal to the people you love. Trust God even when the future seems uncertain. Work hard and do your best. Be kind to others. God can turn sad situations into beautiful blessings. Now, Victory Kids, if you enjoyed this story, ask Mommy and Daddy to kindly subscribe to VictoryToons channel on YouTube for more of these stories. See you next time. Remain victorious.